if you really want to be fluent in English. Subscribe us. Hello, my name is Sarah, and today I want to talk to you about how to speak English fluently and confidently. Let me tell you my story. When I was a child, I loved the sound of English. It was everywhere, on TV and books and on the streets. But every time I tried to speak it, I felt like I was missing something. I couldn't find the right words, and my voice would tremble. People would laugh, and it made me feel small. I remember sitting in my room with my books, trying so hard to pronounce every word correctly. Tears filled my eyes as I thought, why can't I be like them? I wanted so badly to fit in, to be confident, to speak without fear. But every time I opened my mouth, the words felt foreign, like they didn't belong to me. I would ask myself, will I ever be good enough? One day I met a woman named Mrs. Jenkins. She was an English teacher at my school. She saw my struggle and invited me to her house for tea. We sat down, and she smiled at me. "Sarah," she said softly, "English is not about perfection. It's about communication. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Mistakes are the bridges to success." That day, something inside me changed. I realized that my fear of mistakes was holding me back. I started practicing every day, speaking to myself in front of the mirror, reading aloud and recording my voice. At first, it was hard. My words were clumsy and my sentences were broken. But I kept going. Little by little, I began to see improvement. My confidence grew, and soon I was speaking with others without hesitation. I still made mistakes, but I no longer feared them. Each mistake became a lesson, a stepping stone to fluency. There were days when I wanted to give up. Days when the words just wouldn't come out, and I felt like I was failing. But I remembered Mrs. Jenkins' words. I remembered that success isn't about being perfect. It's about trying again and again, no matter how many times you fall. That thought kept me going. It gave me strength during the hardest moments. One of the best things I did was surround myself with English. I watched movies, listened to songs, and read books. I even started keeping a journal where I would write down my thoughts in English. At first, it was difficult. I couldn't find the right words, and my sentences didn't make much sense. But over time, I began to see progress. Slowly, I was building my vocabulary and improving my grammar. I remember once I was in a coffee shop, and a tourist came up to me asking for directions. My heart started racing, but I took a deep breath and smiled. "You can do this," I told myself. I spoke slowly, carefully choosing my words. To my surprise, the tourist understood me perfectly. When she thanked me and walked away, I felt a sense of pride I had never felt before. I had done it. I had communicated in English fluently and confidently. I often think back to that scared little girl who was too afraid to speak, who thought she wasn't good enough. If only she could see me now. If only she knew that it's okay to stumble, it's okay to be unsure. Because in the end, it's not about how many times you fall. It's about how many times you get back up and keep going. That's what true confidence is. My journey with English has been long and challenging, filled with moments of doubt and frustration. But it has also been beautiful. Every step, every mistake, every small victory has brought me closer to the person I am today. I want you to know that if I can do it, you can too. You are capable of so much more than you think. Trust yourself, be patient, and most importantly, never give up. There will be moments when you feel like you're not making progress. Moments when you think that fluency is too far away. But remember, every step you take, no matter how small, brings you closer to your goal. Celebrate those small victories. Be kind to yourself. Learning a new language is not easy, but it is one of the most rewarding journeys you can take. You are not alone in this journey. Many people, just like you, have faced the same challenges, and many, just like you, have overcome them. You have the power to do the same. Believe in yourself, and don't let fear hold you back. Embrace your mistakes, learn from them, and use them to grow. You are stronger than you know. There was a time when I thought I would never be able to speak English confidently. But here I am today, sharing my story with you. If I had given up, I would never have experienced the joy of fluency. I would never have known the pride that comes from overcoming a challenge. So I urge you, don't give up on your dreams. Keep pushing forward no matter how hard it gets. You might be wondering, but how do I practice? Where do I start? Start with small steps. Speak to yourself in English. Have conversations with friends, even if it feels awkward at first. Join language groups, watch movies, listen to music, and most importantly, be patient with yourself. Fluency doesn't happen overnight, but with time and effort, you will get there. I want to leave you with one final thought. Confidence doesn't come from being perfect. It comes from being brave enough to try, even when you're scared. So be brave. Speak up, even if your voice shakes. Keep going, even when it feels impossible. Because one day you will look back and realize just how far you've come. And that will be one of the most beautiful moments of your life. I believe in you. Keep practicing, keep learning, and most importantly, keep believing in yourself. You are capable of amazing things. This journey may be tough, but it is worth every step. One day you will speak English fluently and confidently, and you will be proud of the person you have become. Now, as I stand here speaking to you in English, I am reminded of how far I've come. It wasn't an easy journey, but it was a journey worth taking. I've made friends, traveled to new places, and opened doors I never thought possible, all because I kept going. And you can do the same. Never forget that language is more than just words. It's a bridge that connects you to new experiences, new people, and new opportunities. Every word you learn, every sentence you speak, is a step closer to fluency. Don't be afraid to take those steps. The road may be long, but the destination is worth it. I'm excited for you and your journey. I know it will be filled with challenges, but I also know that you have the strength to overcome them. Just as I did, you will find your voice, and it will be beautiful. This is just the beginning. Keep going, and remember that you are not alone. We are all learning, growing, and improving every day. Be proud of your progress, no matter how small, and never stop chasing your dreams. As I look back on my own journey, there were so many moments that shaped who I am today. One memory that stands out is the first time I spoke English in front of a group of people. I was terrified. My hands were shaking, and my mind went blank. I could feel the eyes of everyone in the room on me, waiting for me to speak. For a moment I wanted to run, to hide, to never try again. But then I remembered what Mrs. Jenkins had told me: speak from your heart, Sarah, not from your fear. I took a deep breath and started speaking. My words were slow, my sentences were simple, but I kept going. As I spoke, I realized something important: the people listening weren't judging me. They were supporting me, encouraging me, and when I finished, they clapped. Not because I had spoken perfectly, but because I had tried. In that moment, I understood that speaking a new language isn't about impressing others. It's about expressing yourself, sharing your thoughts, and being brave enough to do so. After that experience, my confidence grew little by little. Each time I spoke, I felt a bit more comfortable. I began to push myself out of my comfort zone, having conversations with strangers, participating in class discussions, and even joining an English-speaking club. At first, I felt awkward and unsure, but with each conversation, I felt myself getting better. And each time I stumbled over a word, I reminded myself it's okay, this is part of the process. One of the most emotional moments for me was when I was finally able to speak to my grandmother in English. She had moved to the U.S. many years before I was born, and although we were close, we had always spoken through translators or in short, broken sentences. She spoke only English, and I only knew a few phrases. I remember the day I sat down with her, and for the first time we had a real conversation, just the two of us, without anyone translating for us. It was simple, nothing too deep, but to me, it was everything. Tears filled my eyes as I realized that language had once been a barrier between us, but now it was a bridge. It felt like we were finally connected in a way we had never been before. She smiled at me and said, "You've come so far, Sarah. I'm so proud of you." Hearing those words meant the world to me. It reminded me that learning a language isn't just about fluency, it's about connection, about being able to communicate with the people you love. But of course, the journey wasn't always smooth. There were times when I felt stuck, when I felt like no matter how much I practiced, I wasn't improving. I would sit in my room, frustrated, feeling like I had hit a wall. I would listen to native speakers and think, I'll never be able to speak like that. Doubt would creep in, and I'd wonder if I should just give up. But every time I thought about quitting, I would remember the reason I started. I wanted to be able to express myself, to connect with others, to experience the world in a new way. And I knew that if I gave up, I would never reach that goal. So I pushed through. I told myself that progress is not always linear, that there will be ups and downs, but that every effort I put in was bringing me closer to my dream. There was a moment of breakthrough when I finally felt fluent. It didn't happen in a classroom or during a speech or in any big event. It happened in the most ordinary way. I was sitting in a park, chatting with a friend, and suddenly I realized that I was speaking without thinking. The words were flowing naturally, effortlessly. For the first time, I wasn't translating in my head, I wasn't searching for words, I was just speaking. It was such a small moment, but to me it was huge. I had spent years struggling, practicing, doubting myself, and in that simple conversation, I realized that all my hard work had paid off. I felt free. Free from the fear that had once held me back. Free from the self-doubt that had once weighed me down. I had found my voice, and it was stronger than I ever imagined. I share this with you because I want you to know that this can be your story too. You may be struggling now, you may feel like you're not making progress, but I promise you, every bit of effort you put in is bringing you closer to fluency. You may not see it today, but one day you will look back and realize just how far you've come. The key is to keep going. Keep speaking, even when you feel like you're not ready. Keep practicing, even when it feels frustrating. And most importantly, be kind to yourself. Don't expect perfection. Fluency doesn't mean never making mistakes. It means being able to communicate, to express yourself, to connect with others, even when your words aren't perfect. I want you to remember this: you are capable of learning anything you set your mind to. Don't let fear or doubt hold you back. Trust yourself and trust the process. Every mistake is a step forward. Every conversation is practice. And every day you are getting better, even if it doesn't feel like it. So here I am, standing before you, not as someone who has all the answers, but as someone who has walked the same path you are on. I know the challenges, the frustrations, the doubts. But I also know the joy, the pride, and the sense of accomplishment that comes with overcoming those challenges. I believe in you. You have everything you need to succeed. You have the determination, the courage, and the strength. And most importantly, you have the ability to keep going, even when it's hard. So as I leave you today, I want you to carry this with you. Fluency is not a destination. It's a journey. It's not about speaking perfectly, it's about speaking bravely. And every word you speak, every sentence you form, is a step on that journey. Keep going, and never give up on your dreams. You are closer to fluency than you think, and one day you will look back and realize that everything you went through was worth it. I'm proud of you for being on this journey. You are already a success. Now, it's time to keep moving forward. The world is waiting to hear your voice, and I know it will be a voice worth listening to.